Feeling like I was born to do this, catching maneuvering through the loop. I thought you knew this. Stepping foot on a pink line. This is my time to shine. This is my time to rhyme. Pass me the mic. I promise I share tonight. Catch me at the open mic. Crowd full of Chicago kids. Feeling like I won the lottery. I hear the poets, the singers, the activists. The passion feeling the streets, it's inspiring. Requiring
all of the memories. Haven't changed my side username since 7th grade. This is for the middle school friends I stayed. Had a lot of money. Close to you, didn't make the team. I was never what my parents mean.
I'm probably the only, if not one of the very few female artists from the Lower West Side of Chicago and Pilsen. And something that distinguishes me as a Latina artist is that I'm able to rap and sing in both English and Spanish.
Mi rima la devoran, Ari de Indigo, cantautora, soñadora, capaz de destruir egos si me estorban. Don't you know you cannot break what's made of steel? Came to see your heart, you hate to see a woman go this hard.
So I kind of started doing music at 12, and that took a different direction when my sister got me a studio session for my birthday. It was a couple hours at the studio, and I was able to do my first song, and that was a moment. That was the beginning of my journey as an artist. I started connecting with people at that studio. To be a young artist in Chicago is a very beautiful thing, because there's a lot of open mics, community spaces where you can come and do art, and I think that's why I love the city so much, because it pushes people like me and other young kids that want to do something creative in their lives to really believe in themselves. Yeah, so I started making connections at that studio. I was able to meet some of my sister's friends that she used to know, and that kind of allowed me to go to an open mic for my very first time. And at that open mic I met a lot of cool people, a lot of people that were yo, what you're doing is super special. And one of them is my very dear friend Iowa Rockwell. He kind of was the prime person in my life to kind of push me in that direction. He offered me his home to come record and do my music, so that was really inspiring for me, and he was kind of a very important figure in my music journey. I was able to do my first album, my debut album, Golden, at his house, at his studio. He gave me studio time, and he also produced a lot of that album. It's been very crazy to think about, because when I started doing music, I literally started on my laptop, and I plugged in a couple of headphones and I used a mic there, and I went to at that time at my grandma's house, I went to the back of her house, just in nature and outside, and that really inspired me to lay my voice down, lay my vocals down. And I didn't have anything, I didn't have a mic or anything, but it's so interesting because this Mexican artist named Cuco, he did a show in Chicago, and he did a workshop for artists to come kind of lay something over his beat. So I went, I was at the Apple Store in downtown Chicago. I met Cuco there. He played his beat, and he was whoever feels called to write something. I wrote something down in 5 minutes, but I presented it to the crowd and whoever was there at the store, other artists.
Make a stop, sevens up in here, and truthfully I can't get you out of my hair. And so they see it in the window, I'm a see the corazón mío. I feel like we can watch you
And to see such a important artist listen to me do something in under 5 minutes and say that it was good. It was very inspiring. At this show, I was able to meet Kaina, an artist from Chicago, and she stopped me after the show and was like, hey, what you're doing is super cool and very inspiring to see. And I was like, well, you're my inspiration, listening to a Latina woman from Chicago kind of make music. I'm very inspired by a lot of women in Chicago, and not only my family but just women artists. And it was a very important moment for her to pass down her first mic down to me. And that was kind of the start of my career. Like, that was the moment I was like, I have a mic now, like, what else I have nothing else to lose. And that's when I started rolling. My creative process is really crazy because sometimes it goes off emotion, sometimes it goes off instrumental beat. So it really depends on like what I'm feeling. But when I'm creating a project, I don't necessarily tell myself, oh, I need to do a project, like I have this time frame. It kind of just comes to me naturally. Like, I did not expect to create a project in the last year, and I'm working to finishing that up, and looking back, I'm like, wow, like I never really imagined going through that process again. Like, looking back at my last album, it's been awesome, but it's also been, I've been able to be more vulnerable in creating this project. Like, a lot of what I talk about is like what does death mean, and what is like ending cycles, and how can I live with the pain of like leaving things behind, leaving home to come to like a new city, leaving people. What does heartbreak look like? So it's given me the opportunity to own my artistry and be vulnerable and show people my raw feelings. So I'm from Pilsen, Chicago, Lower West Side, and I was basically born and raised there all my life. It came with a lot of heartbreak, but a lot of beautiful moments of celebration, and like, just being young in such a vibrant part of the city. Pilsen is very special to me because it's like the neighborhood of art, and a lot of that goes into my identity. Being Mexican, I feel like art is in our blood, whether it's like painting, music wise. I think we're very expressive in our art and our emotions. So being in the part of Chicago that is full of art, I think there was no way for me to not pursue music and pursue my calling. And yeah, I have a super special tie to my homelands, Mexico and Chicago, because when you hear about Chicago, especially the West Side, you think of violence, but it's very few like young kids that really make it out of the West Side in pursuit of their dreams and their creative dreams. So for me to say that I come from like that part of town is something really important, and I hope that can inspire other kids from Pilsen and from Mexico who want to pursue anything really to follow their dreams.